Hello and welcome back to the Fit Girl Club Confidently You podcast. So thank you again for all the amazing feedback I've been getting on the podcast. I'm glad you're loving it. I'm glad it's resonating with you. The whole purpose of this podcast is to be real and authentic and show you how in real life you can apply my methods or some of the teachings or be inspired by some of the guests that I have on. So I really love that you're liking it. Just do me a little favor though. Just make sure you like the podcast, subscribe, download the episode. That really helps me, and share it with anyone that might help. Any women in your life or the men in your life, if you need to educate them on things regarding women's lifestyle and health, and they might be interested to hear about it. And it's a good talking point as well. So thank you all for taking time to listen today. Today is a really good topic that I love talking about because it's got a bit of comedy in. Really, I like to have a laugh with these things because I guarantee listening to this, you'll resonate with some of this, and we can laugh. It is funny. We can laugh at ourselves. We can laugh at the situations we've been in, and it's all about diet disasters. So this is entitled "Why Every Plan You've Tried and What Actually Works." So this isn't calling you a failure, but it's giving you the insight to why it fails and the nonsense that we are taught and pushed and just everything. And it's just to help you open your eyes into the world of fat loss. It's really about fat loss, and that's what diets are. They're a tool to get you to lose body fat. It's such half of the diet industry is marketing. It's just a marketing ploy. So let's deep dive into it. I'm going to be talking about some of the silly diets my clients have done and you've probably done as well. And we can just have a bit of a laugh about it. And if you're listening to this and going, "Oh, but I still do this," but you resonate with things I'm saying, it's okay to change your mind. If something's worked for you in the past but doesn't work anymore, this isn't a dig at you or to shame you. It's to help you. So buckle in. Let's get to it. I'm really excited to talk about this one because I think it's just a bit funny sometimes, especially when I look at my previous history with dieting. So keto, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, juice cleanses, 800 calorie diets. My gosh, that one hurts me. I've not tried them all, but I know them all. And my clients have tried them all and they have failed. And here's why. This isn't another diet. It's the truth about why diets don't work and what actually creates lasting change. So my diet hopping years. Now, I never went to a slimming club. I never actually got into that. I probably would have done though if I lived in the UK more. But I did things a different way. So my first ever real experience with a diet was the Special K diet. You get points. If you've done any of these, you get a point. And you can put in the comments, you're like, yeah, 10 points to me. So mine was the Special K diet. Now, if you have not heard of the Special K diet, number one, are you a millennial? If you're not millennial or older than a millennial, Gen X or a boomer, we've all heard of the Special K diet. I did do a post about this on social media and on TikTok. A lot of younger folk were like, "Oh, does this work though?" And I'm like, "Oh, please don't do this. It's absolutely ridiculous." So the Special K diet, if you don't know about it, was a marketing tactic that really worked well for Kellogg's because it got loads of people buying Special K. That's all they wanted. They were just selling a cereal. Pinch an inch was, gosh, pinch an inch. Just that kills me. Pinch an inch. I'm in very, very good shape, but I can definitely probably pinch an inch. What's that about? What's wrong with an inch? I bet some of you are listening to this going, "I'm pinching like 10 inch. I wish I could pinch an inch." So the whole marketing around it was like, drop a jean size, drop it in 2 weeks. Like, as soon as I say this to you now, you're probably like, yeah, that's ridiculous. That's just, it's not healthy and it's not an attainable way to do it. But you'd have a bowl of Special K, only 30 grams though, which is starvation, for breakfast, a bowl for lunch, and then a healthy tea. Now, I never used to eat breakfast then. Breakfast was coffee and a cigarette. So I used to just have it for lunch and then a healthy tea. And it's starvation. If you put that into a calorie tracker, it'd probably be about 800 calories a day. And I lost the fat. I was like 21 at the time. And I didn't weigh myself either then, but I was definitely a tight 14 down to I got down to size like 8. I was tiny. I wasn't well, girls. I wasn't well. But I did the Special K diet. You meant to do it for 2 weeks. You know how long I did it for? Remember, I get obsessed with things. Patterns. Look at your patterns and you can start getting a tell of how I used to be. repetitive patterns. I get addicted to stuff. A year and a half. I lived like that for a year and a half because I knew once I stopped, I'd put it all back on. Year and a half. It's not living, is it? It's not. It's just madness. Absolutely madness. It's probably really malnourished. I smoked and drink then, so I wasn't very healthy. But you're in your early 20s, so who cares? So special K diet. Who's in agreement? That was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So my mum has done Weight Watchers. Now, Weight Watchers is points. Now, Weight Watchers don't actually exist anymore, but Weight Watchers does make a bit of sense because it's calorie counting. Their points are actually calories. But the problem with it is, again, it doesn't teach you how to eat. I tried keto. So keto is where you cut out all carbs and you have a really high fat diet. Actually, the thought of it now is just disgusting. You have to have like cream with things. And there is some science behind this because it does get you into what's called ketosis. Now, number one, if you're thinking, oh, that sounds good, it's really hard to get into ketosis. You have to be on, I should have looked this up before I start recording, but it's like less than 20% of your diet's carbs. So you think fruits and vegetables are carbs, so you can't really have them. You have to eat loads of fat-laden stuff like butter, cream, things that build up your cholesterol, loads of saturated fat that's really bad for your heart health that we've learned in previous podcasts. I'm sure I've talked about that on here, or is that with my one-to-one girls? Anyway, too much saturated fat has a negative effect on your body and your heart and your arteries and builds up, it clogs the arteries, okay? So it's not good for you. It's not good. Like, you might be thinner, but you might also be closer to death. But like, what's the point? You want to be healthy. So keto is really hard to get into, and it's one of the most restrictive diets to stay in because you have to be in this ketosis where your body uses fat as a fuel source instead of glycogen. So basically instead of carbs. By the way, disclaimer, none of these are good, girls. Please don't be going out and going, oh, but that sounds good. No. And I'll tell you, I'll come to what's good in a bit. There's the low-fat era, so especially in my late teens, early 20s, everything went fat-free. But the problem with the fat-free was, yes, it was lower calories because fat has more calories than carbs and protein, but they replace it with other stuff. So if you reduce the fat in something, most of the time, if you look at labels of stuff, it'll then have more sugar in. So it's not actually good for you. It's just these labels they put on things that you think are good for you. And everyone thought fat makes you fat, but fat doesn't make you fat. Overconsumption of calories makes you fat. I'm going to trigger some people here. If you're triggered by this, then maybe it's time to have an introspective look at yourself and your habits and how you are. Slimming World. I don't want to slay anything here. And if you've ever been Slimming World, I'll never judge you for it because we're brought into it. But this is my premise of Slimming World. I actually got one of my old clients to give me, she had some Slimming World books and I was going to slate it on social media. And then I was like, I'm not about that. That's not who I am. I don't coach through putting anyone else down. I coach by showing you the positive side of what I do. So I try everything I do with positive reinforcement. So me going slating, things like that. People love Slimming World. It's a cult. People absolutely love it. They love the community and it does work for some people. But my issue with it and all of these diets is you have to stay on them. You have to be doing it in order to get the results. Anyway, Slimming World, if you don't know, is basically clean eating. If you look at their premise of everything they do, it's basically lean meats, proteins, veggies. I don't agree with you can eat as much potato and pasta as you want because personally, someone with a massive appetite, if I was allowed to do that and I didn't understand calories, yes, I could eat. Welcome to the show. Watch me eat a massive bowl of pasta because I could do it. I could eat way over my calorie allowance every day in pasta, but it teaches you to eat more whole foods. And then the thing I really don't like, and they are changing it this year, is that the word sin, even though they say it doesn't actually mean sin, it means something else. But whatever, connotates something that's more calorie laden and not as beneficial for your health. And it's just that negative connotation with words that I don't agree with because it just gives it gives it power, it gives it emotion. That's bad, that's good. This is where a lot of emotional eating and eating disorders come from. Beliefs around food. So my other big issue with it is it doesn't educate you. And then my last big issue with any things like this is weighing yourself, using weight as your only metric of success, and then going to a room full of people and congratulating people for weighing less, but saying to people that may have put on a pound, what have you done wrong? And that doesn't necessarily work because there's so many more things that come into weight than just body fat. You could be on your period, you could be hormonal, you could have just had a load of water. And then I used to listen to a podcast and it gives stories about, and it's quite funny. about women that go to their first weigh-in with loads of coins in their pockets and all the winter coat on, and then go to the next one with like wearing their summer dress even in winter, or getting down to their underwear and having people like, cover them up and stuff like that. It's just, do you want to live in a society where that's deemed as success? Whereas wouldn't you prefer to, yes, you might want to lose some body fat to feel happier and healthier and feel more comfortable in your own skin, but just be like healthier in general and more energy. This obsession with weight needs to just, it's the 90s is over, girls. We need to move away. That's why on my programs, you don't even have to weigh yourself. Yeah, I don't make you weigh yourself. We do measurements. Then you've got the restrictive diets. So, Fast 800. If you heard of the Fast 800, I think it's 5 days where you eat 800 calories and 2 days where you eat normal amount of calories. An 800 calorie a day diet for the majority of you is starvation. It's less than a toddler eats. And what happens with stuff like this is you'll do it for so long and then you'll binge, or life will happen, or you'll go on holiday, and it's just not good for anyone. You'll have no energy, you'll be cranky, moody, and it just binges. Juice cleanses or things like Herbalife or things like that. Expensive, miserable, not a real life, and it just doesn't teach you anything. Paleo, too restrictive, and yeah, you can't stick to it as well. So paleo is like caveman diet, so it's clean eating. It's basically, you're not allowed any crisp, chocolate, anything like that. I think paleo it has to come from the earth, the ground, which, yes, I'll be really honest. If we were all living to our optimal existence of human being, we would be eating a clean diet. But there's so much more that goes into food. It's social, it's enjoyable, and it's part of our culture and who we are. And the negative connotations with demonizing food groups is it causes obsession and binges. I've seen it. I've done it. It happens. And I know it. If I could just wave a magic wand and you all eat, veg and lean meat and proteins and nuts and seeds and things that come from the earth, you'd feel amazing. You'd be great. But in real life, that doesn't work. If I say you're never allowed to go out for a meal again, or have pizza, or enjoy a drink with your friends, or have a bit of chocolate on a Saturday night with a film, would you actually really want to do that? And if you did, you'd already be doing it. There are people in the world that do have that really strict and rigid diet. And if they're happy with that, good for them. But I know how I want to live. And it's not like that. So here's what usually patterns. So week 1, you'll be super motivated. You'll follow it near enough perfectly, near enough. Week 2 to 3, it's getting harder, but you keep going. You keep dragging yourself on because Sue down the road has lost 2 stone doing Weight Watchers. Number 4, you have a slip up and you feel like a failure. This is the big issue. So you have had a tough day at work. You get home. The kids are screaming. Dinner's not ready. And you eat some crisps. And you're like, oh, I'm useless. Why can't I stick to this? Susan can do it. She's lost 2 stone. Why can't I stick to it? And then you're back in old habits and you'll start again next week. Or you just go on a massive bender or go out for drinks, and it just like one thing leads to another. And it's because you're not setting parameters around your lifestyle, around your habits that fit in with you and your life. So you think, I just lack willpower. I'm not disciplined enough. Maybe the next diet will be the one. Always praying for the next one. This will work. Will this diet work? Does this work? And never questions. Maybe it's the diets that are broken, not you. It's not your fault. It's the diets. It's what you're doing. And this is the same issue now with weight loss injections. Is majority, some people do the weight loss injections, have no negative side effects, no hair loss, no heart palpitations. I've heard a lot of things, right? I'll be honest. Some people will do them, and then after they've carried on their lives, but they don't. Majority of people will do them and go back to their old way of being and then put all the weight back on. So it is just the same thing as a diet. You've got to change your lifestyle, your habits, your way of eating, your outlook as a whole to have lasting change. So why are diets designed to fail? So they're too restrictive. The psychology is tell someone they can't have something, that's all they want. If I tell you now you are never allowed to eat sweets or chocolate or crisps, that's all you want. It's your mindset. We are so much more complex as human beings than a diet. Think of you, like if you've got a pet, like my dog, she has the same breakfast and same evening meal every day and she doesn't complain about it. She wouldn't get bored of it. Where humans are so complex, it's the frustrating part of being a human that we have these complexities. Restriction will lead to obsession and eventually willpower will run out. No, you don't go from where you were, if you were consistently putting on body fat and having unhealthy habits, to just waking up one day and it completely changing. Maybe they will invent that in the future with AI. You may be able to just change a button in your head and it will just go with that. So the result then is you binge on everything you've restricted. Hands up if you've done that, because I have. Gosh, I can only eat clean, I can only have this. Binge, again, circle, go again. Monday to Thursday, eat really clean. Friday to Sunday, eat everything in sight. This is science, this is human behaviour, and this is about behaviour change, and this is what diets don't teach. They don't teach you about behaviour change, about habits, about how our mind works. I'm obsessed with nutrition, lifestyle, but also our minds and our psychology and how people tick. And it's not a one size fits all either. Most of my clients I'll have different ways of working with them. I have to find out what makes them tick, and then I have different ways of implementing the change. So they ignore individual needs. So the one size fits all approach doesn't work. Everyone's different. Everyone have different activity levels, preferences, lifestyles, habits. What works for an Instagram influencer won't work for you. Influencers don't have much dealings with influencers. I don't tend to follow people that have a negative effect on me or if they annoy me. But if someone's saying like, oh, you have to do this diet, it's the only way, and they say, I lost fat just by this juice diet, blah, blah, blah. No, absolutely not. You're not seeing the bigger picture either. Like, what I eat in a day isn't the full picture of their life. I try to do some posts about like examples of meal plans that could fit in with your life, but you've got to work out what works for you, and that's why it's so individual. Keto might work for some, but it'll be disaster for others. So if you're really like strong-willed and you stick with it and make you feel good, other people, it gets to day 10 and you get keto flu, which is actually a thing that happens. You actually feel ill for a couple of days while your body changes its way of working to be more fat adapted. And you might get to that bit and be like, this isn't worth it. It's not worth it, to be honest with you, in the long run. It's just actually, please don't do that. You need an approach that fits your life. So with diets, they create an unhealthy relationship with food, the majority of them. When you have, and I really, really try and use my words carefully when it comes to food. Good foods versus bad foods. There's no good food, there's no bad foods. There's nutrient dense, non-nutrient dense, calorie dense, low calorie. And it's about working out the balance around your life. Guilt and shame around eating or weighing yourself with diets. Cheat days. I used to have a cheat day. I used to have a cheat weekend. On Saturday, it's cheat day. You're not cheating on a test. You don't need a cheat day. You need to incorporate occasional meals out or chocolate if you really like it. Or like I used to have a client who used to have a biscuit every night because it kept her on track. That's fine. It doesn't mean you're bad. The whole thing around sins, even though they say it's not actually a sin, but I think that's a bit backtracking, but whatever. It is what it is. I don't like any connotation around that. Food is food. All right? Take away the emotion. Points and obsessive tracking. I do get my clients to track calories and protein, but if you've ever had any obsession with food, you don't. You just do your food journal. You just tell me what you're eating, and then I work it out for you. I make sure, because this is an individual response. I speak to clients. I've got a client at the minute and she told me she's done tracking before and she can be really obsessed with it. And I was like, that doesn't work for you. There's other ways around it. I would say tracking's the easiest because you literally put it into a tracking app and it shows you there. It's just data. If you take away the emotion out of it, it is just data. So the result this results in you can't just eat food without anxiety. I used to go out for meals and be obsessed about what was on the menu. Oh, I can't have bread. I best not have a bread bun. Honestly, I eat bread so much now, especially when running. It fuels my running. I don't have it every day, but I have it in moderation because I use it as something that benefits my life, and it's tasty and I love it. Jason's protein sourdough is elite bread, 10 out of 10. Don't know why the protein one's the best. I think it's got the seeds in. It's nothing to do with the fact that it's protein. It's just the taste of the bread. It's just elite. It's like a little door wedge as well. I recommend you go try it. So this destroys your natural hunger cues and you're just confused and you don't know what's going on. You're just out of rhythm and restriction. So with diets, they're unsustainable. So can you do this forever? If it's a no, it's not the answer to your problems. You need to work out something that will last you for life. You need to change your habits for life and you need to make it stick for life. The thing is, when my clients do calorie tracking, it's not for life. It's just a tool to get you to where you want to be. And then I teach you how to stop tracking. This is one thing I do as a coach that I don't think a lot of coaches do. It's quite unheard of in the fitness industry. I wouldn't even say I'm a PT fitness industry. I'm a coach. I'm a lifestyle coach. I'm a confident you coach. And my clients, if they stick with me till they get to where they want to be, I will then teach them how to stop tracking. I've got a client at the minute who I spoke to the other week who's stopped tracking completely, and she's learned how to maintain, and then she's off on her own. That should be the end goal, not this. It's a tool to get you from to your goal, and that's it. Diets are temporary, but you need permanent solution. When a diet ends, old habits return and the weight returns as well. So what diets do is they ignore the real issue. So diets address what you eat. They don't address why or how. So they don't look into why you're overeating. So what patterns have you got there? And everyone's different with this. Emotionally eating, stress eating, boredom eating, using food to cope with feelings. They don't address why you will keep returning to food for comfort, habits, and they don't fix any emotional problem either. For some of you, it's not even emotional eating, it's just habit. I used to sit down every evening and have snack time. I saved calories for the evening so I could sit and have a snack, and then I'd eat a full pack of Fibre One bars. What was that giving me, really? Now, don't do that anymore. Don't you buy Fibre One bars anymore, because I just don't. I'll just eat the full pack and I just don't see the point in them. So the diet industry conspiracy, they profit from your failure. The diet industry in the UK is worth over £2 billion. That's crazy. If diets worked, you'd do it once and then you'd be done. You wouldn't have to stay on. That's my promise with my clients. If they stick with me, do what I say, apply, you'd be done once and then done. Goodbye. Never come back. You're always welcome back. Diet industry needs you to fail so you come back. The business model keeps you on a hamster wheel, keeps you turning over. Just really think about this. If you've done a diet club or anything like that, weight loss injection, anything, what do you need to do to keep it off? So marketing tactics, using before and after photos that are often misleading and unsustainable results. I used to use a lot of before and after photos because that's what I thought I had to do for my business, for people in the pants and stuff like that. But now I don't do that. I get my clients, the girls, to take a picture in a dress at the start and then at the end. Now, it's their choice if they want to use them as a transformation picture. I'd never make any of my clients. I've had hundreds of clients and you've probably not even seen 10% of them. And hundreds of clients that have had success, you don't see them all because I just don't see the need to share every picture. Sometimes it's celebrity endorsements and these are paid promotions. I've been seeing a lot recently of people that are offered promotions. I've been offered certain things. I've had emails from supplement companies saying, oh, would you like a free sample of this? And I'll be like, oh, thanks, yeah, I'd like to try it. And they're like, yeah, we just asked for 2 reels, this and this. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that unless I like your product. So you'd have to give me it first, then I'd have to decide if I like it, and then I'd promote it. I've done this a few times, but I have integrity. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are like, yeah, I'll take your free thing. This is great. Some celebrities don't even try the stuff or do the stuff. I guarantee some of the celebrities that endorse diets or diet drinks or different things have never even tried them. They just do it for the money. They're just an advertising campaign. The quick fix promise. So lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Honestly, it's so unattainable. So my drop a dress size challenge is 6 weeks when I do it. And I guarantee 10 centimetres. Now, most of my clients lose over 20. Some have lost over 40. But that's why I only say 10, because 10 is attainable. It's reasonable without me saying you're only allowed to eat dust for the next 6 weeks. Because I don't actually teach that. When people join, I guarantee by the end of it, they're like, actually, I don't care how much I've lost. It's more about learning the habits and healthy habits that I teach and how to stop that all or nothing mindset, that binge restrict, and that they're not a failure if they have one off meal or bad day. What diets do is they usually target insecurities. Now, I see this a lot at the minute and I get really frustrated with it when people are, God, am I going to say the words? It's usually, right? Not all, but a lot. And I see a lot targeting women who are perimenopausal or menopausal. So you're in that state of your life where you're feeling really vulnerable. You don't know what's going on with your body. You've put on body fat. You're feeling rubbish. You've got no energy. And they're like, try this. This is what fixed me. You need to do this diet. So what they do is they target your insecurities. So they make you feel not good enough and they sell you a solution. So it's like preying on the weakness of people and find them when they're down and be like, when people are down and out. And most women, especially when you're going through a tough time and life's going, you just feel rubbish and someone goes, here's a solution. You'll be like, you'll just believe them and want it to work. And it's awful and it's so unfair and it should be regulated more as well. Because let me tell you something, and I will do an episode about women's health, perimenopause, menopause, periods, hormones. But the best thing for those women is good diet, movement, bit of sunlight a day, good sleep, good habits. The basics. You don't need an expensive supplement. Let me just add that in there. The new diet every January. So people capitalise on New Year desperation. Now, I always do a big promotion on January because it's a great time to get new clients and help them. But I don't say, I'm going to fix all your issues by January. Most of my clients that start in January will be with me for most of the year. There's no quick fix January. It doesn't exist. So the repeat customer model, the average person tries dieting 126 times in their lifetime. That's shocking. So you weight cycling, yo-yo dieting, you lose weight, you'll gain it back, you repeat. Lose weight, gain it back, repeat. And what tends to happen as well is you lose weight and then you'll gain it back and more. So that's when you end up going like this, up. So wouldn't it be better if you could just consistently go down to where you want to be? Each time it's harder to lose weight, and that's what keeps you going, and they sell you new plans. They sell you another fix because you're desperate. They use language like slimming, skinny, slim fast. Ugh, it's all about being smaller, singe, cheating, good or bad. And it creates shame, guilt, or feeling of failure. You're not a failure. The systems are designed for you to fail. It's not you, it's the system. So what actually works? Is there actually a solution out there? And yes, there is. Now, my approach, and a lot of good coaches out there, I'm not the only one, there are a lot of good coaches out there, will teach you this. And this is what works. And this is the science. I'm not making up this new diet. You've got to try this. Sustainable calorie deficit, not restriction. To lose fat, you need to eat less than you burn. But if you're in a massive deficit, you'll be starving, you'll be grumpy, you'll be tired, you'll be restricted, and you'll binge. Your deficit needs to be maintainable. Now, please speak to me on a one-to-one level about this. I've just started my free challenge, and in there, some of the girls, if you're in a smaller body and you've got a bit less to lose, your deficit will be smaller. But if you've got a lot of body fat to lose and you're in a bigger body, I had a client yesterday and she was burning around 2,700 calories a day. So I put her on 2,300 calories, 400 calorie a day deficit. And she was saying, oh, but I'm only on 1,800 calories. That's fine for me. And I'm like, it's not though. Because in order to put on body fat, you have to have consistently been eating over 2,700 calories. So you're telling me that you can quite comfortably live with 1,800 because you can't. Be honest with yourself. If I give you a deficit that's 2,400, you can fit in a bit of chocolate here and there. You can have some crisps. Whereas if you're trying to stick to those low calories, which is nearly 1,000 calories a day deficit, you are binging at the weekend. The science shows. Just look at like your habits and how you are. If you're consistently putting on body fat, you are in a calorie surplus. So listen to the coach who says about maintaining a manageable deficit so that you can still eat your foods in moderation. I enjoy pizza, chocolate, still have carbs, definitely have carbs, and I maintain my weight. Majority of my diet is high quality nutrient dense food, but I've taught myself that and I enjoy that. It takes time to build up those habits. And whilst you're building up those habits, it's important to still incorporate the things that you'd normally deem as off plan or restrictive, because if you start banning them, you will binge. Banning equals binges. Remember that. I don't look at macros. Carbs, fats, doesn't matter as much. It's prioritising protein. So calories are king, protein is queen. And it's not an obsession though either. You don't have to have protein everything. If you're a meat eater and you have protein with your breakfast, so I have yogurt with my breakfast, I have eggs for lunch, and then I'll have meat for my dinner, and then I have a yogurt for pudding, I will hit my protein target. Okay? If you're vegetarian or vegan, it is a bit harder, but it's just about prioritising protein and looking at your life. You don't have to be bought in, though, by these marketing tools again that are like protein this, protein that. Protein comes from natural sources. If you're struggling, give me a message. I've got a free protein guide that helps people cut through the rubbish they see online and prioritise that protein. So, eating mostly whole foods, the 80-20 approach. 80% whole foods, nutrient-dense filling, like I said, veggies, lean meats, nuts and seeds, anything that really comes out the ground, natural products, good proteins, eggs. You can have tofu, soy, beans and legumes as well, lentils, really good. And then you've got lean meats, and fish, fantastic. 20% of whatever you fancy, whatever tickles your pickle. Pizza, chocolate, don't really like to call them treats, but we can call them treats. Anything. Fit those in, because that is what keeps you on track. No food is off limits or bad. Flexibility can maintain this forever. Not perfect, as it's not sustainable. You should be doing movement that you enjoy, not for punishment. There's no giving yourself an exercise to do because you've eaten too much and you need to go burn it off. Absolutely not. Exercise is for enjoyment, but it's also to feel good. It gives you energy. One of the best movements, though, for fat loss is just moving more, getting more steps in, getting outside in the fresh air. It's so good for you, for body, mind, and soul. I also do recommend doing some sort of resistance or strength training, but how you do that is up to you. And I do like to do something that keeps you a bit heart healthy, bit of cardiovascular to get your heart rate up a bit, but that can be anything from sitting on a static bike, going to a spin class, going on the cross trainer. Walking fast as well can get your heart rate up. I enjoy trail running and I enjoy strength training, but they're my personal choices. You don't have to do what I do. If you hate running, don't run. You are less likely to do something if you've got a high barrier to entry. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it. There's also nothing wrong with HIIT training as well. I don't know why it's got a bad name, but there are things that are going to benefit you more. Like, I do really recommend that everyone should be doing some strength training for old age as well as fat loss. But consistency comes from enjoyment. Go to that Zumba class. Do what you enjoy. Now, you need to address any emotional eating. So ask yourself why I am eating, not just when I'm hungry. Is it a physical hunger? Why am I eating? Am I bored? Am I stressed? Is it sadness? Is it celebration? You know, we eat to celebrate. These are all things we do as humans. But if it's having a negative effect on your life, it's about doing a deep dive into you and your psychology and why you do this. Now, this is something I do help my clients with on a one-to-one basis. But if you want to have some tools that help you, journaling, walking, calling a friend, having some tools in your tool bank and recognizing that you're not a failure, but knowing why you have habits. I think it's sometimes really good to take a step back and look at the bigger picture and understand what you're actually doing, why you're doing it. Food can sometimes be a comfort, and that's okay. But if you're using it as your only coping mechanism and you've got some underlying root cause issue, there is help out there with that. And that might not be me as a nutritionist and a coach and a behavior change coach. It might be therapy. Therapy is what really helped me understand why I did what I did and overcame my addiction to alcohol. A lot of people have a food addiction. If you're using food as a way to suppress emotions or feel better, you have got an emotional eating disorder. No start-stop mentality. So we're not on a diet or off a diet. There's no on plan, off plan. It's just living and making better choices. Some days I'll eat more, some days less. Some days they balance out. Some days I'll eat more nutrient dense, some days less nutrient dense. One bad meal doesn't require a overhaul of your life. I'm useless. I'll never do this. I need to start again. Or what's worse is you let one meal off plan or bad meal. I don't even like the word bad. High calorie, non-nutrient meal. Right, I'll start again Monday. And it's Friday evening. You start again the next opportunity. It doesn't set you off course. Remove the Monday restart mentality. Practice self-compassion. Real change actually takes time, months, and if not years, not days or weeks. You won't be perfect, and that's okay. Talk to yourself kindly when you're struggling. Use my mantra, progress over perfection, and focus on how you feel, not just the scale weight. Massive. So how to break free from this diet mentality? Recognize the diet culture message. Learn to identify what's diet culture and what's actually health. You can always feel free to message me as well. Ask yourself, is this helping me or harming me? Unfollow toxic accounts. I do this all the time, or I mute them. If it's making you feel bad, unfollow. Even if it's me, unfollow me. It's fine. Curate your feed with body positivity, anti-diet accounts about protecting your mental space and not making you feel guilty or shamed or, oh, you've got to do this to lose body fat. It's just absolute nonsense. Stop labeling foods good or bad. Food is just food. Sometimes it's nutritious, sometimes it's less. None is morally superior. Pizza isn't bad and it's delicious. And sometimes it's exactly what you need to enjoy. Ditch the scales. If I can teach you one thing today, it's get rid of those scales. Absolutely put them in the bin. Your weight fluctuates daily with water, hormones, and digestion. So better measures are how your clothes fit, your energy, any strength gains, non-scale victories. The scales cause anxiety. Stop weighing yourself. And if you do need to do it, take away the emotion from it and have a system in place instead of just jumping on at any time of the day and checking your body weight. Trust the process and trust your body again. After years of dieting, you've disconnected from your hunger cues. You've stopped learning to listen to your body. Practice eating when you're hungry, stopping when satisfied. Start having a plan with your life, with your meals, with your food. And it takes time, so be patient. Your body does know what it really needs, and it'll crave like the fruits and vegetables and lean proteins. And once you start looking after yourself better, you'll feel better as well, and you'll want to do it more. So what to watch out for? Red flags. So if a diet eliminates entire food groups, unless it's for a medical reason, red flag. Promises rapid weight loss, red flag. Requires buying specific products or supplements, big red flag. Uses the words like detox, cleanse, or flush fat, red flag. Has cheat days or labels food as sins, red flag. Counts points, sins, or other arbitrary numbers, red flag. Can't sustain it long term, red flag. Is nonsense, doesn't make sense, red flag. Makes you feel guilty about eating, red flag. Ignores your individual needs and preferences, red flag. Focuses only on weight, not overall health, red flag. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. There is no magic pill. I can't wave a magic wand. Real change comes from sustainable habits. It's not sexy or exciting, but it works. So, every diet you've tried has failed because diets are designed to fail. It's not you, it's the system. What works is sustainable habits, flexibility, addressing the real issues. So now it's time to stop dieting and start living. Are you ready? So this week, I just want you to notice diet culture messages around you. Challenge one food rule that you've been following, like bread is bad, or I can't do this, I can't do that. Challenge it. Ask yourself why you have that belief. Where's that come from? Eat something you've labelled bad without guilt. So have something you enjoy. This week, let's get over that and allow yourself it. And we're not going to feel guilty. And ask yourself, if you're doing something now, can you do it forever? Because if you can't, it's not the right thing for you. I wasted years on diets. Don't make my mistake. And I'm probably sure that you've all wasted years of your life on diets as well. So let's start having a sustainable, flexible, enjoyable approach. And it does exist. You deserve to eat without guilt. So no more diets, just sustainable living, progress over perfection. Thank you all for spending time listening to me today. Let me know what you think of this episode. And I'll catch you next Wednesday. Bye.